We will call to order the City of Douglasville's City Council Legislative Work Session for Thursday, March the 17th. We'll have our invocation that will be done by Pastor Melvin Green of Relevant Connection Ministries. If you're here, would you please come forward to do the invocation? Okay. No, City Manager? City Manager, do you mind doing the invocation?
Will all please stand?
And then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey.
Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity tonight to be together, to gather in a meeting place to discuss the business of the City of Douglasville. I ask that you allow us each to have an open mind and open heart to hear the issues of the city. And it's these things we ask in your name, Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, City Manager, for stepping in and doing our invocation. We'll move on with agenda items. First, I'm going to give some very few simple procedural items that we'll go over, and we ask that you will pay attention at this time. Please put your cell phones and any electronic devices in the silent mode. Please keep your conversations to a minimum. No loud outburst or booing. No clapping unless initiated by the mayor and council. If you would like to give comments during this meeting, you will should have filled out a card or form that was outside on the desk. This is a comment form, and it's found outside, and you would give that form to our city clerk. To my right, Ms. Vicki Acker, and she'll take that information from you. When you come to the desk or to the podium, please give your name and address for the record, and then give your items. We only accept for and against comments from our citizens on zoning matters. You'll be given the length of time and direction when to do so. All other comments will be received during the comments form that is on the agenda at the end of the agenda where the citizens and delegates section is delineated. Before giving any comments, please again state your name and address for the record. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll go on to our agenda items. All right, the first item is Public Safety Committee, and the chairperson for that is Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey. Do you have any business, sir?
Yes, I have one item, and it's authorize the mayor to sign a contract with Ronnie Odom for auction services for the surplus city property. Chief, you want to?
Sir, Mayor, Council, this contract is for the city to have an auction on May the 21st, 2016 at the Douglasville Police Department. And the auction is for the sale of surplus items that the city government has come in contact with over the several years. So we trying to get rid of some of the surplus items that we have at the police department, the maintenance department, the city parks, and we're trying to, and we want all the citizens to come out, if you approve this, to come out and buy these items. We have vehicles, tools, computers, all types of different items. So Mr. Odom, he will be the auctioneer. The contract has been viewed by our city attorney, and she has approved the contract, and we just waiting on May 21st so that we can have this auctions. Any council member?
And has our city attorney also approved the items to be sold?
She has.
I've inquired about the city owning all the property that is to be sold, and been assured that we do in fact own it.
Very good, thank you. And I believe the gentleman Mr. Odom is going to do all of the advertising and actually do all of the selling of all the items. And I believe you're going to stage this in front of the police facility out there on Fairburn Road.
Yes, sir. This will be at 2083 Fairburn Road at the Municipal Court, City Police Headquarters. And Mr. Odom, he will be responsible for all cleanup of the grounds after the auction. Mr. Odom will handle all the setup the week prior to the auction. Mr. Odom will be responsible for furnishing liability insurance. Mr. Odom will be responsible for all setup and dispersal of items to be sold. Mr. Odom will provide the city of Douglasville with the advertisement prior to him publishing that we will be having an auction, and Mr. Odom will receive 10% of all gross payment from all gross sales from the auction. Mr. Odom has been doing this type work for a while, and Captain Deming is very been knowing Mr. Odom for some time. He's not new to this, and we just need to get rid of some of this material so we can have some room at the police department, at the maintenance shop, and throughout the city government. So everything looked like it's good to go. Only thing we need is the approval and then the citizens to come out and look what we have out there in the field to offer them.
We're looking at what I believe May 21st for this.
Yes, sir. We're looking at May 21st. We'll start at 10 o'clock, and we'll be there till all items are sold. So if you come there, you stay long enough, you can leave there with something. But we're not going until it's gone.
Okay, thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the city council? Okay, very good. Mayor, anything?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Gary, or Chief. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to Community and Economic Development Committee, and the chairman for that committee is Councilman Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have 3 items to discuss tonight. The first is to authorize the mayor to sign a 2-year agreement with the Black Education Historical Exhibit Incorporated for joint sponsorship of the Juneteenth events for 2016 and 17. Ms. Hampton?
Councilman Adams, this is the same event that we typically help to coordinate with the Black Education History Exhibit. We do have some time on your 5 o'clock meeting on Monday just to discuss one change that's in this agreement. Originally, we have worked out a 1-year agreement. This one proposes a 2-year agreement, but we do have time at 5 o'clock on Monday to discuss that.
Okay, so no other changes that you are aware of other than going from 1 year to 2 years and then possibly the change we'll discuss on Monday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for that reason, I will not ask that it go on the consent agenda, but are there questions of council? Any public question, comment? Okay, we'll have that on Monday then to discuss at 5, and then I assume vote on our 6 o'clock voting meeting, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you very much. Item B, adopt a resolution declaring April 17th through the 23rd of 2016 Georgia Cities Week in the city of Douglasville with the theme of Go to Town. Mr. Lynn, I'm assuming you're going to handle that. You've stepped to the podium there.
I did, yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is the resolution for 2016 for Georgia Cities Week. This year it is April 17th to 23rd. We have the usual gambit of activities that the city does like to hold during Georgia Cities Week that culminates on Friday, April 22nd with the second graders coming down to the city, where they will be getting a chance to tour Fire Station number 10. They'll have a mock city council meeting. Various city departments will come out with things. PD will be out with the K-9 units. Maintenance and sanitation will bring some of their bells and whistles for their new toys out. I know Greg loves that, and they'll have lunch at the plaza or at the conference center, just depending on the weather. The change, I believe, from what I understand in previous years, is this year, just given the sheer number of the turnout, that is going to be limited to Douglas County schools that are within the city of Douglasville. And that still puts us at almost 400 kids for the day to come in and out. A couple things that are getting added this year that we have not had before, because this is the first year we're going to have them. On Tuesday, April the 19th from 10 to 2, staff has put together a volunteer recruitment fair that is going to take place here at the conference center from 10 to 2, where we're going to have various boards and authorities that citizens can volunteer for to come and speak and gather some interest and hopefully be able to recruit a strong list of potential candidates anytime we do have a vacancy, say for HPC or zoning board or the Downtown Development Authority or the Keep Douglasville Beautiful board, just to name a few. That way, we may not have an opening now, but we can potentially have a list of people if we do have something going on. And then also following that on Thursday, April 21st at 7:30, we're going to kind of have a thank you reception to current and past volunteers that have served on any Douglasville board. We're trying to get in touch with them via email, putting ads in the paper, putting ads in Chapel Hill News and Views, and hard copy mailings, which we don't normally do, but we're doing it in this case, to have them come in just for a brief 7:30 to 9 on Thursday morning, April 21st, just to say thank you for what they've done for the city, and then possibly also make a plug if they would like to do any further volunteer activities with any of the other boards. Also have that week we'll have the Keep Douglasville Beautiful, the annual spring cleanup will be going on as well. So it's kind of a busy week, and that's all going to take place between April 17th and 23rd.
Thank you, Mr. Lynn. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, the only comment I would say is that we have one volunteer that I see in the audience. Mr. Mike Lee was on the zoning board, so if you want to come by that day and get some coffee or something, we say thank you for your service, serving on the zoning board for 5 years. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is there any reason we should not place this on the consent agenda for Monday? I'd request that we do that then, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just as a side note there, I can't say I'm necessarily disappointed we're going to reduce the number of second graders, because the last few years have been extremely interesting, but 400 will be plenty, I'm sure. And it's a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Item C, authorize the mayor to sign the local government approval on behalf of the city of Douglasville in order to meet the Georgia Department of Community Affairs requirement for consideration of a grant request from Share House for emergency shelter, transitional housing, and rapid rehousing funding and assistance.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Teresa Smith is coming to the podium. This is something that we've done in the past with Share House each year. So she's going to come up and brief you on what they're requesting and the importance of what she's asking for.
Thank you.
Mayor Robinson and council, this is something that you have done many years, that Share House has been in existence. As a local nonprofit providing services to domestic violence victims, in order for us to operate and provide these services, we must apply for funding each year. And the Department of Community Affairs is one of the funders that have supported us on a regular basis. One of the requirements for them, since we are a nonprofit, is that we must obtain local government approval, since all three of our program and services are located within the city of Douglasville. This funding is very important to us because it supports all three of our housing programs. In the emergency shelter, we have been able to get and obtain funding over the years to help support the payment of our utilities, some of the maintenance for our facilities, some of the food, and some of the transportation services that is very important to the residents who are in our service. And then in our transitional housing program, we are going through some transition there, and currently they enable us to pay the rent on the units that we operate and also the utilities. The rapid rehousing is more of a direct service that we provide for the residents as they are leaving the shelter, and this permits them to obtain permanent housing within the community. It allows us to actually pay rent and utilities for them several months until they're able to make payments and able to stay independently themselves through their work and other economic support systems. So this is one of the requirements, and we're not able to actually submit the application unless we obtain the local government approval for this service.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. We appreciate what you do with that program, and I know you've been, since I've been on the council, I believe you've been there, I don't know how many years, but
12 years is coming
12
in
years,
April.
a long time. Appreciate the
Thank
job
you.
that you do.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask that we place item C on the consent agenda for Monday.
Can I, Mr.
Sure.
Chairman?
Sure, I'm sorry.
I'm seeing some numbers here. I think this is the application, but there's a number here of 250,000. That's not. Are we contributing to that, or
No,
Okay.
no, that is a wish number.
Okay.
On the application that I will be submitting, Those are the numbers that we're permitted. Like, for instance, the emergency shelter, we're permitted to request 60,000, but we may not get 60. For transitional housing this year is up to 40,000. So the application will go in with the budget line item requesting 40,000. For rapid rehousing, we will be requesting 150,000, but we probably will not get it. So you always ask for more than you think that you're going to get funding for.
But these are DCA funds, these are not city funds. Are
No,
we-
that's the Department of Community Affairs.
Right,
The
okay.
funding for the emergency shelter are federal funds. The funding for transitional housing now are state funds. The funding for rapid rehousing are federal funds as well.
So basically, what we're asked to do in this item is just to give our blessing as the city for this effort in order for them to be qualified for those.
Right.
Thank you. Any other questions? I didn't mean to jump the gun. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
I'll have no other business under Community and Economic Development. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, is that going to be placed on a consent agenda, or?
I did request that, if that's in order. Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir. We'll move on to Planning and Development Committee, and we'll have our Vice Chair, Mayor Pro Tem Lariaki, take over that item.
Yes, I have one item. It's hold a public hearing and consider request for a special land use permit for Fortune Teller Astrologer for 0.65 acres zoned CG General Commercial at 5728 Fairburn Road in Land Lot 52, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 26. Application is made by Nancy McMillan. Is she present?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me tonight. I am actually Jennifer McMillan. Nancy McMillan is my mom. I am representing her tonight. Unfortunately, she was unable to make it. My dad had a heart attack, and she's at home taking care of him.
Your address?
I am here. The address is 5728 Fairburn Road.
Okay.
I am here to answer any questions or concerns that you guys may have.
Okay. Michelle?
Go to the mic, this mic.
I'm sorry, Michelle Wright, Planning Director. It was recommended for approval by the zoning board, and we didn't have any concerns with this or the location. It is an approved use by special land use permit.
Very good. What are you planning on putting here?
She's having a psychic readings business, is what she's planning on having here. This is something my mom has been in Cobb County for over 35 years. Very well established. We've been family friends with a lot of the people in Cobb County, Tim Lee, Sam Owens, a lot of the people, that's our family friends, actually. And she's looking to branch out into this area. She has many clients that was in the Douglasville area, to where they was always having to come to Cobb County due to traffic and everything else, and they was telling her, we would love if you would branch out. So that's something that she's wanting to do. She's wanting to be a part of the city of Douglasville. She loves the area, and she would love, to open up a location here, and something very nice, very classy, very elegant. She's very good at her services. People love her, and she would love to have the opportunity of having a business here.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Mr. Vice Chairman,
Any questions?
I have a question. Ms. Wright, can you please come back up? Is this location for this business where the special land use permit is for, is this where the tattoo studio used to be? Or is it next to it?
Okay, I'm sorry, where what used to be?
Tattoo studio?
On
At
Fairburn.
this location?
But at this location?
Hold on, let me ask the property owner.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Yes, that is correct.
There used to be a tattoo studio. I know one of the zoning board members expressed a concern about the aesthetics of the area because of the types of businesses that are right there on Fairburn Road, which is the gateway to the city if you're coming off the interstate there. But, people have different opinions about this type of business. They have different opinions about tattoo studios as well. And if we're replacing one of those not universally agreed upon type businesses with another, it's really a net gain of zero. It's still the same thing. So I don't see the same concerns about the aesthetics then if we're replacing a tattoo studio with a tattoo fortune teller, psychic reader. So
There is a copy in your packet about the zoning board member and the reasons. There was one zoning board member that voted for denial, and the reasons are listed there.
right, that's what I was referring to.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And yes,
I did
ma'am.
have a question, Mr. Vice Chair. Is zone CG, and is there the special land use permit, is there a time frame? Is it 6 months, a year, or?
The zoning board recommended 1 year for this. In the general commercial zones, massage therapists, tattoo parlors, and fortune tellers and businesses similar to that, I don't have all of them listed in front of me, do require a special land use permit. Churches require them also.
And what we're voting on is to hold a public hearing. When are those public hearing dates? Do you know?
The public hearing dates would be the zoning board date, tonight's meeting, and Monday night's meeting that were advertised for.
Mayor Pro Tem, if you would please ask for public comment tonight. You're holding the public hearing tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Now I basically open it up to the audience. This is a public hearing, so if you're for or against this basically request, I'll give it to our city clerk. This is for or against?
For. My name is Mike Lee. I'm the landlord, the owner of the property. I just asked you to approve this. Since the road construction went through there, since the economy crashed, it's been very, very difficult. I lost the 2 buildings next door to foreclosure for not being able to keep tenants in. And this family, when I got the application, I probably, thought the same thing that you might, but the family is very professional, very tied in politically, and strong family ties in Cobb County, have a great long-term reputation. There's nothing, the tattoo parlor I had there, I was glad when they left. And I just ask you to consider it. They are decent people, and most of y'all know me, and they're good folks. So that's all I've got. If you got any questions for me.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments for or against this? Okay. Then I close this public hearing for tonight, and that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chair. We'll move on to item 8, which is Parks and Recreation Committee, and the chairman for that is Councilman Chris Watts.
I have no business tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, we need to get Mark, our Councilman Mark Adams back in here. Here we go.
And a conflict of interest. Okay. So we'll move on to item 9, which is Finance Committee. The chairman for that committee is Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey. You have any business, sir?
Yes, I have 2 items for tonight. Adopt an ordinance to amend the City of Douglasville General Fund budget for fiscal year 2015-2016. Karen Callan, would you like to give us a little update on that?
We discussed this in more detail at the committee level, but I will run over the highlights. If you have any questions, please let me know. The revenue increases for this second budget amendment for fiscal year 16 for general fund include building permits and insurance premium tax. We do have a note to get Councilman Adams the numbers on residential permits. Revenue decreases are sales tax at $150,000 and court revenue at $150,000. The outlook is good, however, by the time we net our revenue increases and expense increases and decreases, we are plugging the difference to a contingency line item for $84,531. The expense increases proposed on this budget amendment are the additional election. We had to have an additional runoff election for $24,672, additional office space in City Hall for $35,000. Those are the expense increases, and expense decreases are tuition reimbursement for $20,000, a program that we did not pursue this fiscal year. And we're also allocating in between departmental line items the merit increases that were approved by the City Council for the employees for this fiscal year. Any questions or comments?
Any questions or comments from the council? We had a pretty good, extensive conversation in our committee meetings. Thank you, Karen, and we'll vote on this on Monday. Declare as surplus and authorize the sale at auction of a certain city-owned vehicles and items of personal property. This kind of goes along with the chief and our maintenance and sanitation department and our city parks in regards to the list of items that we can sell. And so is there any more comments that need to be made on that? Any comments from the city council? Okay, then I'd like to, let's go ahead and put that on the consent agenda. Okay. Very good, and that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to item 10, which is Information and Technology Committee, and that chairman is Councilman Richard Siegel. Do you have business tonight, sir?
Yes, Madam Mayor. One item, authorize the mayor to sign 3 department header package sales forms, amending the city's agreement with Icon Enterprises Incorporated, doing business as Civic Plus, to add website headers for the city's internet pages, for the Downtown Conference Center, and the Parks and Recreation Department, and the Police Department. Ms. Hampton?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. During the communications presentation to you last week, she mentioned that through the process of upgrading our website, that it would be advantageous for us to include these departments to have their own header pages, which would make an ease of use for citizens to be able to access this information that they're interested in. There is an additional cost and additional contract for those, but we have those monies allocated to be able to provide this service.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from mayor and council? Any comments from the audience? Okay, we'll take this up on Monday. No other business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to item 11, which is Maintenance and Sanitation Committee, and the chairman for that is Councilman Mike Miller. Do you have business, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
We have one item tonight, authorize the city manager to solicit bid proposals to provide cleaning services, janitorial maintenance services in City Hall, 2 community centers, and 2 other City of Douglasville government buildings for the 2-year period as of May 1st, 2016 through April 30th, 2018.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. This is an agreement that we do every 2 years to bid out for our cleaning services. We are providing for some time at your 5 o'clock committee meetings on Monday to have further discussion. We are looking at a possible change to one area, which would include our Parks and Recreation, but we just want to discuss that with you before we move forward. But this would allow the solicitation of bids for you to approve this so we can bid out cleaning services.
Okay. So we'll discuss it in the committee meeting this Monday?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll leave it on for a vote then, if that's the pleasure of the council. All right. Madam Mayor, that's all we have tonight.
Thank you, sir. Item 12, which is Transportation Committee, and that chairman is chairperson, Councilmember LaShawn Danley. You have business tonight, ma'am.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I have 2 items under Transportation. The first is authorize the city planning director to issue a request for qualifications, RFQ, for the Riverside Parkway Bridge project located in the city of Douglasville's Riverside Parkway at Sweetwater Creek, being a federal and GDOT project. Mrs. Wright?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The city of Douglasville has, through their comprehensive transportation plan, decided to upgrade the Riverside Parkway Bridge, which is failing at this point in time. Not failing to a certain point, but it needs rehabilitation. And during this time period, the city has applied for grants through the Atlanta Regional Commission and Georgia Department of Transportation, and we did receive $100,825 for preliminary engineering with a match of $20,165. This last year in our budget, we allowed $96,000 for this project. So since we won't be using the total $96,000, we'll only be using approximately $20,000. It'll save us approximately $76,000. Also, the second part of this is, which is Part B, which will be read next, is that we did a contract with Atwell Engineering LLC to start the project, and we pay them a fee to get the project started, but also to go all the way through construction. And now GDOT has told us that we need to, since the new money coming in is federal money, that we need to bid this out with an RFQ. So these two items go together. We will be counseling, on your recommendation, the 30-day contract, and then we will rebid it as an RFQ. And the project will start approximately July 1st, 2016.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. And I will read the second item. Authorize the mayor to give a 30-day notice of contract cancellation to the consultant agreement between Atwell LLC and the City of Douglasville for $91,726 for engineering consultant services for the Riverside Parkway Bridge. And Mrs. Wright has already discussed that, and we had a very in-depth conversation in our committee meeting. Do we have any questions or comments from our audience? Any from our mayor and council?
Yes, Madam Chairman. Just want to clarify for those who may be listening that this is just a hiccup in the process. It's not going to delay it at any point. The timeline is the same. It's just where we've already selected an engineer, we need to back up and go through that process again. But the final date of bridge completion a few years out doesn't change.
Correct.
That is correct.
That's correct. Councilman Siegel, and also this is due to a process from the Georgia Department of Transportation.
That is correct.
Thank you. I have no other items under transportation, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. You will move on to item 13, which is Personnel and Organization Committee. The chairman for that is Councilman Mike Miller. Do you have any business, sir?
No business tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. 14 is Ordinance and Intergovernmental Committee, and that chairperson is Councilmember LaShawn Danley. Do you have business tonight?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just one item. Appoint an individual to the Douglasville, Douglas County Water and Sewer Authority Board of Directors to complete an unexpired term which extends through April 2nd, 2021. And we'll be voting on this on Monday. Do we have any questions or comments from our audience? Any from our mayor and council?
Yes, Ms. Danley, I just would like to make the comment that I hope that with as many qualified candidates as we have had come before us in the last few weeks, that maybe we would start Mr. Lynn's box of potential volunteers by placing those that aren't chosen in that box automatically, because we've had such a great group that has come before us, and we can only choose one. So I would hope that they would be willing to do that.
I totally agree.
Thank you.
Mark, we have had some great people come in to interview for this position. So I totally agree. They need to go in the box.
There were 8, and we can only choose one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilman Adams and Mayor Pro Tem Yaki, and also our mayor comments. I concur that we've had a lot of interviewees that were very qualified, and we will make a decision on Monday. I have no other items under ordinances and intergovernment committee. Mayor.
So much. We'll move on to Education and Training Committee. That council, the chair is Councilman Samuel Davis. Do you have any business, sir?
No items at this time, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Other business from council members?
Madam Mayor, I do have one item. In reviewing the charter, which I do periodically for some reason, I came across something that made me think maybe we need to actually act on, and I hope Ms. Littlefield will check me if my reading of this is incorrect. Section 2.34, Mayor Pro Tempore Selection and Duties. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just the first few lines. By majority vote, the City Council shall elect a council member to serve as Mayor Pro Tempore, and we've done that, The mayor pro tempore shall preside at meetings of the city council upon the mayor's absence or upon the mayor's physical or mental disability. And then it says, this is the important part, the council members, by a majority vote, shall elect a new presiding officer from among its members for any period in which the mayor pro tempore is disabled or absent. And that's the key point right there is in the unlikely event that both the mayor and the mayor pro tem are not here, we still need to have somebody who can run the meeting, a pre-selected presiding officer to do that. And that's all they get to do is run the meeting. Can't sign anything, can't do anything other than make sure we can have a meeting. And all my years of sitting in the audience, I've only seen this used once. And I know last week or week before when the mayor wasn't here because of an issue she had with dental work, it occurred to me that could happen at any time. You know, it's unlikely that they're both going to be gone at the same time. They coordinate their vacation schedules so they're not out at the same time. But, you know, life happens. People get sick, family emergencies, maybe you were traveling and something happened, you didn't get home in time. So I would suggest if Ms. Littlefield agrees that this is appropriate, that at our meeting on Monday that we actually take a vote on somebody to serve in that capacity just in case it's needed. It's a little contingency planning. And what I'm a little unsure of is, I know Mayor Pro Tem's planning vacation next month. Do we just have it in effect for during that time, or can we have it in effect for the whole year, and then next year when we vote for Mayor Pro Tem, at that time we vote for a presiding officer for the whole year for just in case, that third level down of someone to run the meeting. So,
Mr. Siegel, what you're suggesting is not outside the bounds of the charter. However, when I run across this problem in committees, generally we do the election immediately before they proceed into business whenever it's needed. So whatever is the council's pleasure, if you want to pre-select someone to serve in that capacity in case it comes up, that's fine. Or if you want to vote at the time that person is needed, that's also fine.
thank you for that. My concern is if we're having one of these meetings on Thursday night or Monday night, you have to call the meeting to order first before you can vote on that, I would think. And you can't call it to order without somebody already selected to do that. That's my thinking on that. So, comments from the rest of the council?
The meeting won't fail for lack of a chair. Business will not fail to be done for lack of a chair.
So whatever the council's pleasure is fine with me. I didn't choose my tooth for dental. The tooth chose me that day. So I had to go to the dentist. But the Mayor Pro Tem and I do coordinate our schedules for vacation, and we try not to be out. But again, there's some unforeseen things that may happen in life, so it is really proactive for us to make this decision now. And it's your pleasure what you all want to do. If you want to choose someone in advance or as a meeting or as occurrence happen.
That's fine, now that he has announced my my vacation.
Schedule, your
my
5
schedule.
weeks.
So, but
We're
yeah,
being
I don't-
open here. We're being transparent.
transparent, that you're not going to see me for a couple of weeks, okay? And
I think they'd figure it out.
so anyways, I don't have a problem with that at all. And if we want to go ahead and vote on that on Monday, that's fine.
I would recommend that we do it in place for the remainder of the year, just in case. We'll probably never use it. I've only seen it needed even once in my years of sitting in the audience, so just in case.
But that person is absent.
I guess my question for Ms. Littlefield would be, if it does not preclude the business of the city going on, who would then open the meeting?
Well, we've done that various ways in the past. Since there's no vote necessary and no motion necessary to chair the beginning of the meeting, and many times when I've worked with boards, we've had a staff member do it, or we've had the longest standing member of that board simply chair it for those first few moments.
Well, I guess then my comment would be, let's just for hypothetical reasons say that the mayor and the mayor pro tem are both out, and the person that we have elected for the balance of the year to cover that falls and tears their rotator cuff and can't be here. Then what do you do?
Right.
So I think we would be better suited, in my opinion,
I agree.
to do that at the time that it is needed and only for that meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
They can't veto.
That's
No
right.
veto power.
No veto. I'm okay with that, now that my vacation schedule has been announced.
Okay. Well, we will do it on a case-by-case basis. Seems to be the general consensus. And
Yes.
you all will,
That's
so
fine.
that's how it'll move forward.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Mr. Siegel, for bringing that to our attention and being proactive as it relates to the business of the city. We'll move on to item 17, which is the city attorney. Mr. Dotson isn't here. Ms. Littlefield, do you have any business?
Mr. Dodson is returned from vacation, but he's under the weather tonight. I'm hopeful he'll be with us on Monday night. I have no other business.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Do you have business under Chief Assistant City Attorney?
No, ma'am.
Thank you very much. My Chief of Police, Mr. Sparks, Chief Sparks. You want to tell us just a little bit, I want to brag on you, about the Western technology. You
Yes,
had
ma'am.
officers from
Dunwoody, Atlanta, all over, and then a meeting that night for pastors, so.
As this past Tuesday, we started about a year ago the West Georgia Information Sharing Group, which is several law enforcement officers west of Atlanta coming together at the police department. This past Tuesday, we had a technology meeting. We had the FBI. They was out giving us information on some services that they can help us in investigation. We had utility body camera. They was out showing us their camera system, and we will be training with some of their camera systems. And we had the Dunwoody PD out with their drone, and we had a system that we're going to purchase in collaboration with the Sheriff Department and the DA's office, a gang data system, which is going to enhance our investigation of the gangs in our city and county. And then later that night, from 6 to 8, we had our community meeting where we invited several pastors and civic organizations. And we just wanted to introduce ourselves, the police department, to the community. Let the community know that we are one with the community. There's no us and them, but as it relates to the police department and the community, we wanted the community to know that we must fight crime and keep the city safe together. So we also went over active shooter, and we also gave some information as relate to gangs in Douglasville and Douglas County. So it was a great evening, a busy day, Tuesday. So.
Thank you, Chief. Very proud of you.
Very good.
Any comments?
Very good.
Thank you so much. Our city manager, Ms. Hampton.
My mic's not on. All right. Well, I do want to say, Mayor and council members, just to brag on staff, I know that it felt like we were only having a few items there and nothing was going on. It was all quiet. Actually, WSA the interviews gave us an opportunity to be ahead. So we are actually scheduling things as of today in May of this month. So our agendas are moving along. Staff is doing a good job. Just got to work a little bit on attachments, making certain the items get there. But our goal is to make certain that you guys definitely always have the information. Definitely 48 hours. Vicki and I are going to shoot for even sooner than that. So we look to be able to provide that information in a timely manner so you guys can have it as well as to the public. Thanks again for your attention and reminding you just any information you need from follow-up from the 3 o'clock meeting this afternoon, please let us know. We'll be happy to get those for you. Also, as a reminder, be thinking about the WSA appointments again. That will be made on Monday via ballot. Each of you vote, including the mayor, so the majority will be the one that's selected. And then finally, I will have Ms. Callen come up to talk to you about budget. We do have the budget schedule. We've gone over that with the Finance Committee Chair. Hopefully, you guys are good with where we are. We've gotten your vacation schedules. If anything changes, please let us know immediately. Speaking of working ahead, Karen and I's goal is to have budget ready and presented to you by early May. So that'll be a change. We want to make certain that you're getting the information in advance, but she's going to go over that for you, give you a copy of the schedule, and if you could get back with us within 24 hours, 48 hours if things are off. If not, we're going to go along with that schedule, and that's what we're going to publicize.
Yeah, I've got some vacation dates from the council members that sent us emails on their vacation dates that we knew to stay away from that when it came time to have our budget workshop. And based on city manager's suggestion is May 11th, 9 to 4 is the key date for the budget workshop. And I will pass these out in just a second so that if you have any questions, just email, or any changes we need to make, just email us, email Marcia, and she'll email me and I'll update the schedule. But the key date is May 11th at the conference center from 9 to 4, and that's when we will go over the budget in detail. And just to refresh your memory, we will adopt the budget. Then we have to have it adopted by June 30, but we are projecting to adopt it at the 20th of June. And we'll have a public hearing June 16th, and we'll also have go over it at the committee level and at the legislative work session. And that's for budget 16-17.
Just to remind you all that this is the adoption of the budget. Karen, just to remind them when we have to deal with the millage, which is separate.
Right, yes, and we'll have to project, y'all have to give us some direction on what you want to do with the millage rate, and if we have a rollback situation, because we will not know the millage rate until after we adopt the budget. It comes in right after the assessors are working on it, and Todd Cowan sometimes can give me a hint of what it looks like, but we won't get the official tax digest usually until the middle of July. And that's assuming the assessors don't have any problems. It has been later than that in the past, but it's been as early as the first week in July. So just keep that in mind. I mean, we'll remind y'all as we get closer.
And that's all I have, Madam Mayor, unless anyone has any questions.
I just want to say thank you to you for your highlights that you give us every week.
Yes.
That is such a super document that we hold dear to ourselves now. And so you've created an animal here, so you're going to have to keep up with it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and I try to make certain. I know sometimes it seems like I miss things, and I send it to you at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, but I try to make certain you definitely get it no later than Saturday night. I want you to at least have it by Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. We will move on to comments from citizens and delegates. And now this is the opportunity for anyone that is in the audience. If you have any comments that you wish to present to the council, please come forward, give your comment form to the city clerk, Ms. Vicki Acker, and come to the podium and give your name and address for the record. Thank you so much, Council Member LaGuire.
Thank you.
That's my friend. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
For the record, though, 4996 Gulf Valley Court.
Yes, sir.
Is this legal to have you come and talk to us like this?
Say again?
Is this legal for you to come and talk to us?
Yeah. First off, I just look at this agenda. There's 20 items on it. Had we had that much when I was on the council, we'd been here to 2017.
Oh. No comment.
Commend you for moving through this thing fast. I have a couple of reasons for being here. First off, I sat beside Sam for 4 years, and he provided me with lifesavers, and I came to tell him I ran out, and I was looking for a little help. But I was chairman of the personnel guy, and I got to read the agenda for the 4 years on the personnel issue, which is about what we did. And I appreciate the help the council gave me in doing some of the things that we did for the personnel during that 4 years, particularly for the police department and for the others. There's one item that we didn't get through. As most of you know, that on the council, we had a lot of dialogue the last 4 years. Occasionally it was related to the issue at hand. I had the feeling that during that time, so much dialogue taking place that it was, we sometimes got lost in the desert. We had items fall off the agenda. We didn't get a chance to discuss all of them, or it was taken off, or whatever the case may be. To use the old Army vernacular, I felt like I was on a camel with a whooping cough. I kept getting dumped into the desert all the time. But has to do with the retirement pay. It's the injustice. I think you're going to face that, going to have that issue in front of you in the next week or so. Probably at the next council, and I encourage you to support that, because I don't know why it was done in the first place. It didn't save a lot of money. And I might add, while I have this, we're blessed to have above average city employees. And I can say that for being around them and being together. The two divisions that a city is judged by is the police department and the maintenance section. In that regard, we do quite well. And that's supported by a professional cast here in the headquarters. And I know they gave me a tremendous amount of support, particularly Ms. Kellen and Marcia. So I really appreciate what they did. But anyway, when that comes up, I encourage you to do that and kind of correct something that was injustice to the personnel.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Doug.
Statesman LaGuire. It's good to see you again. Are there any other comments? There's a golfer.
Hi, I'm Philip Sisk. I live in Tributary, New Manchester, 9905 Ardwick Greenway, Douglasville. And I just want to tell you that we don't always express how much we appreciate all y'all do, but we do. We do appreciate it. Also, first I've heard about it, it does sound like the charter says you should elect a command of chain, as Richard said. And in the this day of political partisan politics, seems to me it should be set up ahead in case somebody does fall and break their rotator cuff, you know, that it should be set ahead of time as who would run the meeting. And I would encourage you, for transparency purposes, to elect a person that does that. But again, before I heard that, my comment was going to be how much we appreciate all y'all do.
Thank you, Mr. Sisk.
Thank you.
Any other comments from citizens and delegates? Good to see you.
Hey, you guys, I am Nicole Jarrett at 8854 Campbellton Street. I think most of you guys know me as a lifetime resident of Douglasville, and for the last 15, 16 years, a resident of the downtown Douglasville area. I do have concerns about the mill project. I'm not convinced that this is the best use for that property, and it feels very rushed. I'm very disappointed to know that each of these people who came and presented to us today mentioned 2 to 2.5 years that they've been studying and testing this to decide if it's an endeavor that they want to invest in. Yet as citizens, we just found out about it. And now our council is expected to make a vote on it in 2 weeks. And I feel like this is a huge decision that's going to affect our livelihoods. It's going to affect our property values. It's going to affect our community and our family. And I would like to see something from you guys that lets me know that you guys have done study and you are confident that this is the best use of this land for this community.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Nicole. Any other comments from citizens and delegates? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and staff. My name is Rayford Johnson, 2739 Dayview Lane in Atlanta, Georgia. And I just wanted to come and formally introduce myself to most of you, as I know some of you already, as a candidate for District 62, which includes Ward 5 in Douglasville. And I'm here to listen and learn and understand some more about Douglasville and the Douglasville area that I haven't already heard from Richard. So just wanted to introduce myself and say good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Any other comments?
Guys, my name is Joshua Newborn. I live at 8593 Campbellton Street in Douglasville. My concerns about the meeting earlier today, a lot of these, I'm an EMT and I go in and out of a lot of these retirement type communities, and it is very difficult to police younger people from staying there. And also the added burden on public service, first responders, police department, fire department, that has to come out to these places. And it's a huge cost to these companies. So just on a monetary value, it doesn't seem like the city will be getting anything, and it might actually cost it money to, sorry, I'm nervous,
You're
to
fine.
put extra staff in place to take care of these places like that. And just somebody that goes into them all the time. I saw the pictures today, And they put up some really nice pictures. And I've been in a lot of these other places that the same people built, and they don't look like that. And there's some research y'all should put into, because like I said, I've seen, and I'm not going to name them, but they don't look like they do in the pictures. Those are the really nice ones. And you go in these places, and there's grandma and grandpa and 4 kids, and none of them have a job. They just live there on their grandma and grandpa's retirement money that they have a free place to live. And I just think it's a really sketchy place to go to look at these places that they don't want you to see that they've built for the same reasons. So, just something to think about. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Newborn. Any other comments from citizens or delegates on any other issues? If not, there is a staff report. Did we have the report from Mr. Lynn? Or is this another report?
Mr. Lynn came up and he spoke about Georgia Cities Week during his item, so unless you guys have any other questions, I don't think we have anything else to add.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns, or comments from the council or staff, citizens? No? Well, if not having any, I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.